Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today again. We will get started here in a minute. Just use the raise your hand feature. We'll get started with Tyler Donahue.
Thank you. Hey Andrew, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Tyler. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, thank you. That was pretty obvious some of the emotions that were coming out of you when you got on there and were throwing some blocks and some of the body language that you had on the field after plays. Can you kind of take us into your mindset during those possessions where you were getting a lot of run, touching the ball, knocking guys over, and what it meant to you?
Yeah, for me, it was just, not being able to be out there for quite a bit with my guys. Uh, it wasn't ideal. It wasn't fun. Kind of having to take the back seat and understand that right now my battle was getting healthy. And, being able to go back out there again and feel, honestly, the best I've felt in my career. I feel the strongest I've felt, the fastest, the best. And it just felt amazing. And it just brought me life again. And putting somebody in the ground, making a play here and there, you know, oh, just it feels good, man. It feels good.
Rich Scarcella.
Morning, Andrew. Thanks for doing this.
Yes,
Um,
sir. Morning, man.
Good morning. Is this the first such injury that you've had? And what was the worst part about the recovery and rehab? Was there a low point?
Yeah. So I've never had dealt with injuries, honestly, in my career. I never thought I would. So it was kind of first bit of adversity that had been thrown at me in my life. So kind of just coping with that and realizing I got to take it the right way. When people get hurt, you can sulk about it. You can say, "Oh no, why me?" Or you can just get up and you know go through the process that you have to go through that many of the greatest athletes and football players have had to go through. So for me, it was just trying to keep a positive mindset. There were definitely days where no denying, like watching Luke, Khalil, and Ty go out there and play and do their thing while I was still having my process was definitely tough. But then it just got to a point of knowing that when I get back, I'm going to be a contributor as well. And that's not given, but I knew in my heart that I was going to come back and be better, as good, if not better than I was before. So
Daniel Gallen.
Thanks for your time this morning, Andrew. Um, who are some of the guys, either in the locker room or, away from the football program that really helped you through this process that you could lean on?
I would say the biggest one, it kind of, I wouldn't say it goes over my head, but Zariah Fisher, just being somebody who had been through a lot of stuff that I could relate to, and coming back and maybe not having the exact role I wanted to have to start would have it was a little, frustrating because I know what I bring to the table. I know what I bring to the table and whatnot. But just him telling me, like it's a process. It's coming back. You're coming back to you. It might take a little time, but just trust it and go out there and don't even think about ever being hurt. Just be you. And just some of the advice he told me, and then I remember vividly we went to when we played Notre Dame in Miami. I got a chance to see Theo Johnson, and I hadn't talked to him in a little while, and me and him had a good relationship, a tough relationship, but a good relationship when I was a freshman. And he kind of just told me, like, he was actually in a boot at the same time, had a little foot injury. He told me, just when you get back, just do your thing, man. Like me and Tyler and Dink were here when I first got here, and they know the kind of player I am. It just comes down to coming back and doing what I used to do. So that's really been the focus since. But two guys briefly, like Theo helped me a little in a brief conversation that it still sticks with me. And then Fish is always there to talk to about things. So of
Audrey Snyder.
Andrew, appreciate the time.
course.
Going back to Theo, you said it's a tough relationship, but good relationship. What do you mean by that?
Oh well, Theo was. I had never had a player get on me about just everything the way Theo did in a good way. Like, when you make a play, he's there. But when you were not playing up to the standard, he was going to let you know. And that's one thing that I don't think I've appreciated enough until now. Tyler was more of the soft spoken, kind of just chill guy who would help you when you needed. I mean, and that's just his approach to football and life. But Theo was somebody who I almost emulate now because I see why he was the way he was on the young guys. And it comes with, the young guys now, Olish, Kordovich, and Henderson coming in and making sure that they're upholding the standard. So Theo helped me a lot with just making sure I was doing what needed to be done to live up to the standard of the room.
Max Ralph.
Hey, good morning, Andrew. Thanks for your time. I wanted to kind of follow up on the fact that obviously you're sitting for so long last year, but was there almost an aspect of this with a guy like Tyler Warren around, with obviously Cole Dinkins is still there? Do you almost learn more from having a different perspective of seeing them from the sideline and in the film room and out at practice the whole time?
Oh, 100%. And the thing I would say that I took the biggest step in the past year has just been my mental approach to the game of, 6 second mentality. You're gonna lose a block. It's gonna happen here and there. You got to be able to flush it. You got to be able to move on. And the biggest thing is just, um, I'm sorry. Repeat your question, Max. I lost it there for a sec.
No, you're good. I'm just saying, being on the sideline, being injured during the year, do you almost learn in a different way from, veteran guys like Tyler and Khalil?
Yeah. So just seeing their approach to the game and seeing how, like I said, you got to be able to flush a play, but also just seeing just the overall like approach to our offense. Like before, I was just for myself learning what my job was in that specific play, but now understanding schematically like what we're trying to do and how it's helped me so much with when situations do come up in a game or come up in practice that we haven't maybe not seen or repped at. You kind of can understand where to go with the play and what your job is. So the biggest thing is just like being more calm and composed. Like in the game, no, Nevada was a exciting game to come out and play again, but just how composed and how normal everything felt, even coming back from an injury that had me out for quite a bit. So just seeing how Tyler and Dink and Luke went about their business when I was out just made it for me knowing that okay, I'm gonna come back and I gotta do this and I'm gonna execute like this.
Joel Haas.
Hey Andrew, thanks for the time. Just wanted to ask about Ethan Grunkemeyer. Obviously, won the QB2 battle at least for the time being. What have you seen from him that kind of allowed him to take that role?
Oh yeah, Gronk's a playmaker. There's no denying that. And the thing about him is he's just got a ridiculously talented arm. He can flick the thing, and he's also just got a swagger and a confidence to him that you just don't see with a lot of guys. So when me and Gronk had a lot of reps together this summer, just with me working back in with the twos, whatever the ones, whatever it be, I was in there with Gronk a good bit. Um, and he's just got he's got a confidence to himself. You can see it even with a young player, like for a guy who's behind the best quarterback in the country. I think that you would maybe see a little more. He's a little honestly just being a little more nervous to the approach, or like, shoot, I gotta play ridiculously good football to play like Drew. But like Gronk just goes out there and does the thing, and he knows what he brings to the table. So I think for him, um, and I'm also really close with Smoke, and I think that battle between them really brought something out of Grunk. And yeah, I think he's a real good player. He's got a good, bright future.
Tyler Donahue.
Andrew, is it fair to say that you and Cam spent significant time together last year behind the scenes last season recovering?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just wanted to ask, what did you learn about Cam as you kind of were both going through that grind, behind the scenes, not getting to play the ball that you like? And then what did it mean to you as you have your kind of big return? He obviously had a hell of a return back to the field. So what do you kind of take away from what you witnessed from him Saturday?
yeah. So me and Cam were roommates my freshman year, which I don't think that many might not know. But so I had my injury, and then a week later, he had his injury. So that sucked. There was no denying that, and just seeing because I knew Cam had the. I felt like myself. We both had amazing. Not to talk about the past, both had amazing camps going into last year, and then to see my unfortunate injury, and then the way Cam got hurt, which was quite literally disgusting, and then the way he responded to that. I just think that a lot of things behind the scene people can talk about what kind of you know, what they're going to do in a game or what kind of player they're going to be. But those are also the players that really have not been through anything in their career. And like, I love all the knowledge and the advice I get passed by a lot of my teammates. Or when I was going through my injury, it was kind of just a thing of like, a lot of these guys, not a lot, but some of these guys, haven't had to go through maybe what I'm going through. And for like Cam, seeing a kid like him, I went to visit Cam in like a damn near a nursing home for like a month of his recovery process, and to see one of my best friends have to struggle like that, but also know with his tough mentality that he was going to come back and he was going to be better. and to see like it was very. I was even emotional watching him clear somebody in the game the other day after going through what he went through about a year ago. So I just think that reality is I wouldn't want to go through the crap I had to go through with anybody else. So like being out there with him was really, really special this weekend.
Rich Scarcella.
Andrew, I'd appreciate if I could ask you about Joey because Joey's from our area, and you came in together with him. I was just wondering what you've seen from him over the last 2+ years, and where is he now? I know he's behind the three of you guys, but where is he now in terms of his ability and how far he's come? Thanks.
I think for Joey, the biggest thing is just to remain consistent, and he's one of my good buddies as well. I think that when Joey came in, he was obviously physically not where he needed to be, and I think the last 6 months through spring ball, especially, he really cracked down and focused on what he needed to do in order to be able to become a possible contributing factor to the team, specifically in games. Obviously, he's huge for us when we're banging it up in practice and stuff like that. But Joey really took a big step in the spring and became like about 260 pounds at one point, and he became probably one of the strongest guys in our room. And I mean, the coaches started to build trust with him. I think Joey's really been on an upward trend. Uh, his last spring ball in camp, and I think that obviously one thing that I say to everybody is when you're in a room like we're in, you got to learn how to put your ego aside. Because if you come in here and you have an attitude about this and that, I'm going to play this X amount, I'm going to play over him, you're going to get humbled really quickly. And we got a lot of good guys in our room, and the biggest thing is just being ready when your name is called. And I mean, I said to everybody, look at Tyler Warren. He's the perfect illustration of what being a tight end at Penn State looks like. It's Brenton Strange, Theo Johnson, and Tyler Warren. Tyler took 4 years to get his real shot, and now confidently can say was the best tight end to ever play football here. So
We've got time for two more. We'll go to Audrey Snyder first.
Andrew, I know a lot of guys when they're coming back from injuries, they say mentally, you don't really know until you either take a hit or hurdle somebody or make a catch, whatever it may be. What was the point for you mentally where you're like, okay, I feel like I'm back. I feel like I'm good. And do you feel like you're there now?
yeah, I feel the biggest thing I'd say is it took the first day of camp coming out with a knee brace on and losing my first one-on-one rep and the pure frustration I had with myself. I was just I was just honestly disgusted in myself because I knew that I felt a lot better and I was a lot farther along than how I just had put on tape. And I said to myself coming out day 2, day 3 of camp, I was like, that's not me. And it was like took my knee brace off. I said, I'm good. I'm healthy. I'm back to me. I said, I've rehabbed everything to a point where it's as good as what my other part of my body feels like. And I basically just cut it loose. And ever since I cut it loose and said, just trusted my rehab and trusted everybody who got me to where I'm back to being at, I've felt incredible. And I've started to make some plays again. My confidence is only trending up. But there was never a doubt in my mind that what I had to go through was ever going to set me back. I knew I was coming back, and I knew I was going to make plays.
Daniel Gallen.
Andrew, I appreciate this time again this morning.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned the young guys, Kordovich, Olish, Henderson. How have you seen them take to being college tight ends, especially in a room that already has a lot of talent, already has a lot of competition in it? How have those guys come along since their arrivals?
I think they've all done a great job. And the reason I say that is obviously, you come into the room like the room we're in. And sometimes that first time can be tough. Like, damn, like, okay, I'm gonna probably be developing for quite a bit before it's my turn. But I think that's also where a lot of valuable lessons can be learned. And, seeing those guys come in with the right attitude and just taking the coaching. And, I say all the time, I remember that, a couple years ago, I'm rolling the end zone of the stadium because I had too many missed assignments, and Theo was on me about it. Like, we take that same approach in our tight end room to make sure that everybody's upholding the standard and, is going to be prepared for when their turn comes because time goes quick. And I remember like it was couple months ago when BK, Henderson, and Olish were 215 pounds coming in here, 220 pounds where it was now. Seeing everybody kind of growing to their body. Olish has still got some steps to take with his weight, but seeing Kordovich at 251 pounds and Henderson at 245 pounds and getting dirty in the run game is just it's awesome to see for those guys because when sometimes it's you got to oddball when some of these guys come in. They're athletic, but the biggest thing with being a tight end at Penn State is are you willing to get your nose dirty and are you going to do that? You can't not want to do that and play tight end here. You just can't. So
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, everybody.
appreciate it, guys.
Thank
Thanks.
you.